Hello everyone, I'm LazyFire, and this is Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider was released in March of 2013 to strong reviews and sales, with reviewers praising the graphics, story, and for the overall experience the game provides. Some noted the similarities between Tomb Raider and the Uncharted franchise. While it is clearly inspired by, it's never derivative of Naughty Dog's trilogy. Tomb Raider is a long overdue reboot according to some. The story has Laura as part of an expedition to find a lost Asian culture. Right out of the gate, the game asks you to kind of suspend your disbelief as you discover not only does Laura have a job as a newly graduated anthropology student, but she's working in her field, a true impossibility. Things don't go according to plan, and Laura, along with the rest of her companions, are stranded on a mysterious island with constantly shifting weather patterns and a veritable army of savage castaways. This isn't the most innovative game in the world, so you have poorly explained skill tree and weapon upgrade systems, a near infinite supply of collectibles, and some forced stealth and action sequences, along with QuickTime events. My god, the QuickTime events. These conventions don't actually take away too much from a great-looking and playing game that is genuinely fun and has oddly strong characters. So everybody, let's play Tomb Raider.
A famous explorer once said that the extraordinary is in what we do, not who we are. I'd finally set out to make my mark, to find adventure. But instead, adventure found me. In our darkest moments, when life flashes before us, we find something that keeps us going. Something that pushes us.
This would happen.
Come on, Doctor!
Where the
Help us out here!
No sign of walking Laura.
Jonah! I'm here!
Okay, and now we have gameplay. It's difficult to swing when you can't see where you're going. But this section's pretty self-explanatory. You're only able to swing in one way at a time right now, and we're being introduced to one of our constant mechanics, which is setting things on fire. That will be a pretty long constant in this game, along with swinging in directions and all that stuff. This is going a little better than the last time I tried to swing towards this thing. There we go. And quick time event. Your first one of the game. Not your last. And so now we have full control of Laura for the first time, but not really. This is more or less a cinematic. But it's actually a pretty good introduction to her and her conditions.
God. No.
Laura talks to herself quite a bit, and I will try not to talk over those too much, but there are subtitles here.
What happened to you?
Let's just take a minute to kind of admire the scenery and the level of art that went into this, even this small section. You never come back here, and I do like the way Laura's character model slowly gets beat up over the course of the game, let's say, and this is where you first start seeing those problems. Let's set this on fire. Like I said, fire will be around for a while in this game. And take a look at this helmet. That's interesting, right? There's a lot of backstory about the game and the location that's written in the details in the background. So keep a lookout for those things. I'll point out some interesting ones as we come across them. And we get introduced to the survival instinct button. This is sort of like the X-ray vision you got in Hitman Absolution, telling you what you need to do to get going. And as you saw there, as soon as I moved, I lost the vision. So if you stay still, you'll be able to see it pretty easily. What we have to do here is set this on fire. It will blow up that barrel there, and that'll knock down that wall. All pretty easy stuff. This opening section kind of introduces you to those important mechanics of the game. And this guy. Okay. So, really quickly, whoa, I've never seen those fronds do that. But yes, that guy will be here for the most of this first level, and he'll be our major quick time event going through here. We have no way to defend ourselves right now, and you know, so that's the only way the game can really allow us to fight against this guy. I will be showing off a couple of things about the quick time events in this game throughout the course of it. Mostly what happens when you fail them. And we got our torch through there for nothing. That's a lot of explosives. Let's show off the objective beacon right there. Let's show that again. As you see, it tells you where you need to go. You can also turn on your map, and you can see the objective beacons right there.
More fire.
Alright, let's catch some fire here. And if you look closely, you'll notice that this is this appears to be a helmet, like a World War II era helmet. I could be wrong on that. I could be just misinterpreting the texture, but I really thought that was a nice touch. It'll explain it later on. Alright. Because we don't know exactly what it is, we just set it on fire automatically. Not a bad move in this game. If you set fire to things all the time, you'll probably be okay. Let's get over here. As you can see, there's one more support. I thought I got, for whatever reason, I believed I got both supports, but it's obviously wrong. Alright, so more flammable objects. And that thing just dropped down. So, let's show off how this puzzle mechanic works. You need to set fire to all the things at the end of there, over near the objective beacon. This cage here is also glowing. If you hit Y at it, it does that. So, by that logic. We jump on here. It was weighed down before, and that, there you go. It raises up. And then you have some flammable boxes in there. Perfect. This is kind of the depth of the puzzles in this game. They're mostly based around using newly learned mechanics to do something, and then they generally don't come back too quickly. But with that, we're able to get our way out of here by sending some fireboxes at some mines. Okay. So here's our first major... Okay, come on. Our first major action sequence of the game. This is going to be a pretty good constant, is you're going to be running down something as it collapses or falls apart or what have you. Oh, and sliding. We get to see sliding for the first time. Sliding's actually pretty cool little parts of the game. Usually you slide between areas or something like that. But they're actually really fun little sections. But this is what the game's mostly about, is making these death-defying jumps and such. And if you look in the background, all these ships crashing down, all these different styles, different eras and stuff like that, it gives you more background to the island. And I'm not going to fight this guy. I'm going to let you see what happens if you don't pass this QuickTime event. Yeah. Think about that. That is, that brings up one of the bigger issues people had with the game, was that they felt that the game was completely brutal towards Laura, which I can understand because it is, at times, very brutal to all its characters. It's not just Laura. Here's one more QuickTime event. If you fail that Y button press, you'll die the same way. So no big deal. But yes, the game is pretty brutal to all its characters. It doesn't shy away from being violent towards them. It's actually kind of refreshing, because most games will do something, you know, they'll pull their punches. This game really doesn't. And more QuickTime event. I'm using a controller, so you can hear me pushing the trigger. Oh shit! You can hear me pulling the triggers as I go up here. Don't worry, the QuickTime events are not as bad as I'm making them seem to be. They're actually not super frequent by the time you get mid to early mid game, but right now they're pretty much all we have. This is Tomb Raider. Right now, you can actually move right now, but it doesn't look much different than the cinematic. If you move the control stick, it'll actually slowly move out and let you know you can control it, which I think is a really nice touch. The game just looks really good, and it takes a minute to realize it's not a cutscene sometimes.
The lifeboat. Where are they? They must have gone inland.
Alright, and we're going to run into another little mechanic here, and that is balancing.
Okay, take it slow.
There are a lot of little movement mechanics in this game. Maybe too many to list off at one time. But for the most part, they're not like the first introduction to it. So, for example, you're never really going to have a bad balance section like this that's as difficult or trying as this one is. For whatever reason, Laura keeps leaning to the right, and I don't understand why.
Okay.
So, let's show this off. Yes, you can jump right now. If I tried to jump earlier, it would have given me a screen, a gray screen, because Laura was getting hurt. Right now, I also don't have any sort of weapons or abilities to fend anyone off still.
Huh? Okay.
And what do you know? World War II era bomber. But yeah, usually Y button in this game does a push until you get certain things. But right now it doesn't do anything. So this is purely tutorial right now. And here's another mechanic or signal that's going to be with us all game, is these white markings that are on the plane. These are on everything you can climb and where you're supposed to go. We also saw the grip icon there, which means that when Laura starts hanging off by one hand after she makes a jump, you have to hit X so she will grab on. I don't really mind that mechanic, but I could see it going away. Let's make this jump, and right there again, we're reminded of the grip mechanic. And my dog just wanted to bark a bit there. And if you look at how Laura's interacting with this wall now, this is actually something I thought was really cool, is instead of letting you clip into a wall or something like that, they put a little wall around it, invisible wall, and they have Laura interact with the object. It works pretty well, but there's still a lot of object and texture clipping in this game. And let's get down here. Ow. I didn't need to jump, but I just did.
Sam! They must have come this way. Sam? Roth? Can anyone hear me? To find them.
Alright, a little bit more exploring, and then we will call it a... Oh! Oops. Yes, that was some intense physics right there. I've never seen her get quite that animated. And if you look, we've completely changed biomes, basically. Just a second ago it was a light sprinkle, now it is nighttime, and it is a downpour. This game has some pretty freaky weather patterns, and right there, we'll come back and get that in a minute. But yes, there's some really weird weather patterns to the island, and there's a story explanation for all that, so we'll get to it when that comes up. But for right now, we're pretty much at the end of this video, so thanks for watching everyone, and I'll see you next time.
Looks bad. Is anyone listening? Please respond. Here's the soon-to-be world-famous archaeologist, Lara Croft, in her native habitat. She's on the hunt for the lost kingdom of Yamatai, home to the fabulous Himiko, mythical Sun Queen, and ancestor of yours truly.
Sam, this is serious.
Oh, sweetie, I know. I'm just trying to lighten the mood here. Everyone's so on edge. What are you so worried about?
I'm close to something. I'm sure of it. I just don't know if the others will listen. Or even if they should.
Lara,
You know this stuff better than anyone. Seriously, I'm not just saying this to make you feel better. I trust you, Roth trusts you. You got this. Now let's take a break, okay?
Okay, okay. And Sam, thanks.
She's not always this serious, you know?
Come on, tackle him!
No, it's your chance.
How can you suggest I'm not serious about this expedition, Laura? It's not just Sam's family funding us. I put my savings on the line, too.
We've all got some kind of stake in this. The funding won't last forever, Whitman.
That's precisely why we should push east, not west.
No one believes Yamata is that far east. The books simply don't support it.
Well, whoever wrote those books never found Yamatai.
I've talked to Roth about this. There's no point in following in other people's footsteps, Dr. Whitman.
I refuse to bet my reputation on your hunch. I'm the lead archaeologist here.
And when were you last in the field without a TV crew behind you?
Got 30 years experience, 2 PhDs, 1 in East Asian history, so why don't you just stick to boats, Mr. Grimm?
Ship, Dr. Whitman. It's a ship. Don't need a PhD to know
Look,
that.
going east will take us directly into the Dragon's Triangle. That's where we need to go.
Laura, my little bird. I'd follow you almost anywhere, but that place has a bad energy.
Bad storms, more like. Makes the Bermuda Triangle look like Disney World. Sign me up.
The stories about Queen Himiko say she could summon storms. Myths are usually based on some version of the truth. What if Yamatai was somewhere in the triangle itself?
Well, look, this is the satellite imagery from inside the Dragon's Triangle.
That doesn't look good.
If it's wet, I can sail on it.
Oh, don't tell me you're seriously
Reyes is right. We don't have the funds to piss about. It's now or never. Lara's offering fresh ideas and a plan. I'm the captain here. It's my decision. We're going into the Dragon's Triangle.
Why am I even here?